On this week's episode of Pop Culture Weekly, it's our Halloween episode, and I'm joined by the one and only supergroup Lovecraft. Let's go!
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Hello, and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I am really excited because this is the annual Halloween episode, and you know what that means. It's one of my favorite episodes to do every year, and there's all kinds of social media stuff, and we've been talking about it for weeks, and I have a very special guest for this episode, and that is Lovecraft. This group is so awesome that I die, literally, and am revived, and then die again because they're that awesome. Lovecraft, which is spelled LVCRFT, they are a group of, a super group, really, of writers and producers, and they've written tracks for and produced with Madonna and Rihanna and Beyonce and Charlie XCX and Adele, and it goes on and on and on with their, massive amounts of hits. It's like over 100 million records sold from these amazing craftsmen and women. So I am talking to Lovecraft today. They are horror fiends, just like me and so many of you, as we always talk about, Halloween being my thing, and it is for many of you as well. So I'm really excited for you to hear my interview with Lovecraft. And they have, by the way, if you've seen Hocus Pocus 2, and if you haven't, what the F? But if you have, you may know their little song that also went viral on TikTok called Skeleton Sam. They've also done Straight to Hell from Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Pumpkin Spice Everything. These are bangers. I really love Lovecraft. I love their music. I love their vibe. They're my people. So without delay, let's get in to my interview with Lovecraft. Thank you, Lovecraft, for speaking with me. iHeartRadio's Pop Culture Weekly. I have Lil Pumpkin and Deep Cuts, and I'm really excited to speak to you guys. I am a huge horror fan. Obviously, this is my time of the month, or I'm sorry, my time of the year. Jeez, oh my God. Great start I got here. This is why they don't let me go live. This is why they make me pre-record everything. This is my time of the year, and I have a feeling that it's your time of the year, too. How are you guys?
Literally, I'm elated.
Deep Cuts is going to say exhausted.
I'm exhausted, but extremely stoked and like literally full of spooky joy at all times, but truly exhausted.
I'm sure
we're running only on spooky adrenaline at this point.
Yeah.
like there's we have our plate is so full this time of year, I mean, I know you were like, this is our time of year, but like for us, it's kind of a year-round thing for us, and so this is just when like foot's on the pedal.
Yeah. I normally do an interview with Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, every year around this time. And she says something similarly. She's like, this is when it's 110%, but, the other 11 months are 100% preparing for, spooky season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our motto and our label is spooky never sleeps, because for us it doesn't. And it's a year-round thing. You know, we start writing our music every year, our new album in January.
Wow.
And from there, we're releasing music starting in February. You know, Halloween, May 1st is a big day for us. We do a lot of stuff around Halloween. Getting into the summer and the spring, there's a bunch of, Halloween horror conventions that happen in the Midwest, West Coast, East Coast. For us, we do a big thing at Midsummer Scream come July. I mean, so, you know, and then, you know, by the time it hits September, we're rolling. We know we already have our schedule for September and October planned out by then. But, you know, this year and every year since we've started Lovecraft, it's just been getting progressively busier and more immersive for us. And it's exciting. I mean, like, we're basically getting to do what we love for a living, and, you know, can't really ask for anything more than that.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, yeah, just to echo Evan on that, you cannot ask for anything more. That was the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are living it. And, you know, have you just as a side note, have you guys done Transworld in St. Louis yet?
We've gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about in the Midwest. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I go every year. So next time you guys know, you got to hit me up, and we'll do pumpkin spice.
Have you done Midsummer Scream?
I haven't, because of timing. It's always a bad time of year for me, and it's on my list. I'm trying to do it for next year.
You gotta come. Come. Yeah.
Love it. And Monster Palooza. Do you do Monster Palooza?
I have, but I did not this year, or actually the last few years since COVID.
Well, they're doing a kind of a small pop-up version in Burbank this weekend, which is cool. So
yeah, it's just, you know, you guys are my people, and I love that. So how did Lovecraft come about? You know, what was its inception?
So there's this Ouija board. No, I'm just kidding. We were in this graveyard. No, actually, though, true story. We were in a haunted old castle on the coast of Denmark.
Wow.
And Amanda, Deep Cuts, and myself, and a whole crew of people, we've been going to all of these, you know, not only just movies, horror movies, all of the, you know, every Halloween season, all the haunted mazes and immersive plays, and all throughout the year, anytime something would pop up, we have like a little crew of people that we go to, and, like, you know, we write songs together for the living as well. And we kind of found ourselves in our own little coven of horror enthusiasts. And then two of us happened to be in this haunted Denmark castle, and we ended up writing a Halloween song back in 2018, just for fun. And it all kind of was like, it was like that scene from like Back to the Future where he calls Chuck Berry and he's like, Chuck, you know that sound you're looking for? And like, I called Amanda from the Danish castle, like, Amanda, listen to this. We got to write a Halloween album. But honestly, like, we've been talking about it forever, for years before that, just that we grew up listening to the same Halloween music forever. And, you know, literally, I mean, Monster Mash is 7 decades old at this point, and most of the stuff that people listen to on their playlists are at least 30, 40 years old, right? You know, Thriller and Ghostbusters and Rockwell and The Specials and Warren Zevon and Oingo Boingo. I mean, it's all ancient, really, for kids these days, but they're still listening to the same things that we grew up on. And so we looked at ourselves as you know, successful songwriters and producers and artists in our own right, and thought, as a crew of people who just love the culture, love the space, love everything about spooky all year long, and have the ability to write great music, like, it's kind of on us. Like, we kind of felt like it was like a calling, or like it's our duty. Like, we failed life if we don't do this, to actually deliver and create the next soundtrack for the next generation of music for Halloween, which then turned into spooky music year round. When people started wanting to use our music for TV show and film, and we were like, oh wow, like this is like a real thing, like a business we could turn this into. But really, it came from our just passion and love for all things spooky and horror and Halloween culture.
Yeah, we found ourselves like our outside of our work, like, a lot of times we'd work in the studio all day, and this would be all year round, and be like, okay, we all got tickets to this movie, and we're going to go, you know, let's meet at the ArcLight Dome, RIP ArcLight, and let's, so more of our life, like we just were noticing, was revolving around like horror culture. And I just think we really were, it was kind of like just taking a step back and zooming out and being like, I cannot believe there isn't new Halloween music in a significant way. That is insane.
Yeah, it really is. There is, it seems like everybody today puts out a Christmas album now. And or at least a holiday track of some sort, and there is a glut of music for spooky season, and I love that you guys have come in and filled that. Not only filled it, but are filling it awesomely. You know what I mean? I love how there in some of the tracks there's this pop edge, and then in some of the tracks it's like you have essentially a whole album of instrumentals that we'll talk about shortly. But it's kind of all over the place for any kind of listener. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when we set off to do this, our first album back in 2019, we called it This Is Halloween Volume 1, which we thought was just kind of like a funny, like tip of the hat to like a Now series or something. But also just that we thought, man, it's like when we were sitting in the studio, we're like, what is Halloween music? Right? And it was like, well, it's this. And then we're like, but it's also this. Mm-hmm. But it's also that. But it's also this, right? And we thought, what the thing about Halloween music is, it's not just one. You don't have to have jingle bells in it, right? Right? Like you could. There's so many different songs and different genres and different eras that have been kind of appropriated for Halloween. And we felt like when we made this first album, like, why don't we pay homage to all of the different sides of Halloween? And so we were like, this is Halloween, meaning like it's everything, right? And so we have a little bit of everything on that first record, from like retro spooky to like up-tempo dark pop to like all this kind of like kind of voodoo soul to 80s, new wave vibes, and like, so it's just
covers, like spooky covers and things like
covers, and so we wanted it to be really super eclectic, and from day one. And as we've evolved from there, we just kept bringing in new sounds, and we kept bringing in new collaborators, like songwriters and artists and friends of ours kept hitting us like, man, we got it, that Halloween thing you do, we want to be a part of it. And what's cool about that is that then they would bring on their memories of Halloween as a kid, and they'd be like, oh, this song really was my favorite, and be like, cool, let's do a song like that. And so it's like Halloween means something different for everyone. And I have so many fond memories of growing up here in LA with my mom and throwing all the Halloween party for the kids. And obviously Amanda is going to have completely different memories growing up in, North Dakota, which is a bit slightly different than LA and chillier at times. But we all kind of bring our own love and passion, which is completely different from each other's.
You're just saying, I agree, man. Deep cuts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like fully in it. Like, yeah, 100% agree. That's the thing about Halloween. When there is a moment, I think the funniest thing about this journey is like telling our teams, our management companies, and publishers, and being like, we want to make Halloween music, and people just, eye rolling, and just. Now we're in our fourth album, and the industry's grown to being over a $20 billion industry. And aside from the business alone, I was just texting Evan the other day, song ideas. I was texting the Slasher 7, actually. We haven't really tackled this aspect of horror. Like I said on my gravestone, I wanted to say, here lies MNDR, aka Deep Cuts. She wrote at least 2,000 songs about Halloween.
That's an awesome thing to have on your gravestone. I love it. One of the things that is built into my contract, actually, is that forever, since I was a kid, I've gone to this place called Frightland in Delaware, that's like one of the top 10 haunted attractions in the country, and is just, horror 24/7 there. And it has nothing to do with what I do in my professional life, but I will never give that up.
I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, my God. And Frightland has been so amazing to work with. I'm like, I got to do a thing for iHeart, and they're like, cool, do it. I mean, so it's been awesome that I've been able to work them both out, and I hope to be able to continue to. But it's just a passion, And, you know, it only comes once a year, the haunt season for a haunted attraction mostly. So it's just kind of funny.
I also love Haunted Delaware. That was pretty fun.
Haunted Delaware, yes.
Full state.
Haunted Delaware is amazing.
Yeah, so it's cool because, you know, one of the things that I'll do using my professional life there is like I'm super into the soundtracks and stuff and creating like things. We have this one attraction called The Attic, which is a pitch black like walk through maze. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you can't use your eyes at all. So let's do sound. So there's, you know, I'll do all these, I'll sit in here for hours and do custom sounds for it. I just get to be a giant kid and I love it. And that, for me, my kind of bigger point is that for me, that's what Halloween does for me.
Me too.
You know, it's just such a passion that I'm willing to say to my, you know, probably the biggest break in my career at that point, hey, executives, you know, for 2 months, I'm going to be doing this, and made it work because I love it so much, you know, and I feel like that's very much how you guys would be too, you know?
Yeah, very, very much so. And just to like think about our teams like 4 years ago being like, what are you doing? Or that's not a thing, or this or that. And then to have the 8th most Shazam song in a viral song now with Skeleton Sam that was in Hocus Pocus 2. I think, you know, you get moments, we all work, we all are in creative industry, and then you get these moments where you can really, a door opens, and if you're there at the, you know, at the right time and can contribute to something that becomes a fabric of pop culture, it's a really special, like, thing
Absolutely.
to experience. And I feel like they, you know, we were kind of like, why are these successful songwriters spending so much time at this when we could be working with on Beyonce's record or Rihanna's album? Don't get me wrong, we're gonna do that, but you know, this is a passion, and it does make me feel like a kid when a lot of times you don't get to have that feeling in adult life all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. And do you feel the same, Little Pumpkin?
Yeah. I mean, you just called me Little Pumpkin. You tell me if I mean, you know, I haven't worked in the music industry for 25 plus years to be called Little Pumpkin for nothing, right?
That's very true.
Look, I mean, I got into Halloween as a kid. Like I said, my mom and I would throw the party every year for school, and all the kids would come over, and we'd spend months creating ghouls and stuffing old clothing with newspapers and putting balloons in masks and put flashlights behind the mask to make monsters look real. And, you know, we carved a ton of pumpkins and put dry ice in the pool and have bobbing for apples. And like, we were like full on Halloween obsessed since literally my earliest memories. And so, yeah, I mean, like, it's something I started doing as a kid. It's something I'm continuing to do with my own son now. My house, you know, my house now is already the talk of the neighborhood. I already have 50 bales of hay outside my garage, and I've light up pumpkins and stadium seating outside my house, and giant, you know, pumpkins on my lawn that are like, I would just say throwing up pumpkin seeds out of their mouths onto the chest and stuff like that. Like, it's like a whole thing, and like people all day long walk by my house taking pictures of it. You know, and my 20-month-old is like, pumpkins. Like, all he wants to do every night is go out and see the pumpkins, right? Like, he's obsessed with it. And to me, that just makes me so happy to be able to pass that on to him. And musically, as somebody, you know, who's fought really hard to become, you know, successful at what I do as a songwriter and music creator, and found these people I consider my family who are just as incredibly talented, and I'm able to pass the gift of Halloween music on to a whole, you know, generation of people. And now to Amanda's point, to Deep Cuts' point, with Skeleton Sam, we're reaching a whole new audience, you know, thankfully to, you know, Disney and Hocus Pocus 2, and the success of that, the song has really exploded and brought a lot of new fans to what we're doing. And when they come, the first thing that they say on all of our socials and website everywhere is like, oh my God, you have so much good Halloween music. Because we have 4 albums, 2 EPs, a bunch of singles. Like, we have so much catalog of great Halloween music already. And now people are discovering it even more so for the first time this year than any other year before. And we feel like it'll continue to grow from there.
I totally agree with you, and that was a great segue into Skeleton Sam, which came out, I want to say was it last year or 2 years ago, and it's now with Hocus Pocus kind of totally exploded.
It's a fun factoid on that. I have to give it up to Evan, who is one of the main songwriters on this song, to tell the amazing story of that song. And when
it was actually the first song we wrote for the first album in 2019.
Wow.
It
was the first day of our first camp to write Halloween music. In 2019, we wrote Skeleton Sam. That year, it ended up being the kind of like, I wouldn't say theme song, but like the main promotional song for Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina,
yes.
like their remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They had us rewrite the lyrics for that song to a new song, and then Karen Shipka, who plays Sabrina, came in and she sang it, and the whole cast did a video to it. And then the next year, that song ended up being in Adam Sandler's movie Hubie Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Every year there's been something with that song where it's just kept growing and growing and growing. And then this year when we got the call that they wanted it in Hocus Pocus 2, I mean, like, it's like the holy grail of all spooky anything. So we were like, wow.
We literally were screaming over the phone like that. And Evan's like, are you sitting down? Evan's always like really my favorite. Sorry, Lil Pumpkin's my favorite person to relay exciting information. What are you doing right now? Get a phone call. What are you doing right now? And I'm like, what do you mean? What am I doing right now? And then you drop it on us, and we're all like, ah! And then also like on our socials, we had planned to bring Skeleton Sam to life as our brand ambassador, sort of in the spirit. Although we of like an Eddie's, Iron Maiden and Eddie and some of the great like iconic, characters that are the brand ambassadors for big bands. I was like, let's bring Skeleton Sam to life. So that's been amazing to see our Sammy like running around and then to have this dovetail with the song going viral, with Hocus Pocus 2. It's been crazy.
Yeah, and Sam, bringing Sam to life came from last year. We ended up curating music for Spirit Halloween, and as part of our relationship with them, we ended up shooting a video in one of their stores, and that basically the character in the video ended up being our first time of like kind of introducing Skeleton Sam. We took that and said, we should run with this and bring him to life, and so he started becoming like a TikTok personality, showing up to all of the events, doing the red carpet. No one knew like what was going on. Like, so the Skeleton Sam brand of him being a real life person kept growing and growing. And then for this to happen, it's just all of the spooky stars aligning,
Absolutely. And the song Skeleton Sam has become or is becoming Lovecraft's White Christmas in a lot of ways, and or we could use Mariah's oh my God!
All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Thank you. I'm like, it's that song's stuck in my head.
Time of year.
Yeah. Yes. No Christmas tree.
What we say, which is all I want for Christmas is Halloween.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. I get actually angry when Christmas creep comes. It's like, no, this is our time. You have November 1st.
No, but dude, some of the stores. Every weekend I go hunting in all the stores to see what keep adding more and more.
So do I.
Right? Some of the stores are carrying Christmas stuff already, and it made me so mad. I was like, wait a minute, can you stop? November 1st. November 1st.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in your lane. Like, let us have this. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, Scream Warrriors, your newest album, you worked with Christopher Young, who was a iconic musician, relating to horror especially. How did that come about?
Well, last year, we ended up co-hosting a radio show, and we ended up bringing people onto that show where we were kind of bringing in people from the spooky music culture and the spooky like haunt culture, let's say, right, as our guests. And we ended up reaching out to Christopher Young through a mutual friend and had him come on as a guest. And we were like, I think someone had said on the thing, you guys should collaborate together and this and that. And we came off that and we were like, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. By the way, other guests we had on that year, last year were like Ray Parker Jr., like Houdini, and like John Castillo, the Crypt Keeper. Like, it was an amazing lineup of people that we brought on with our newfound Halloween fame, I guess. And so we didn't think really much of it at the time. But as myself and Deep Cuts and Norman Crates, our third partner, who's sitting in the back, hi Norman. But as we were thinking about where we wanted to focus our creative energies this year, we thought, we've done all of this real fun pop stuff, all this this gamut of the pop Halloween spectrum, the commercial Halloween spectrum. What if we did something that was more cinematic this year? And so when we got together with our what we call the Slasher 7, like our core 7 people that write the majority of the records, we took an approach that was more about creating space in the music, less about filling it with lyrics and vocal melody, and more about creating these moments of horror feeling, uncomfortable feeling. The stuff that we love that's in the score for the movies that we love to go see. And then after we had written this batch of songs, we were like, man, like what could like really take this to the next level? That's when we were like, wow, I wonder if Christopher, now it made sense. Like whatever Christopher Young would come in and if he was digging it, maybe he would like kind of take it from here,
Wow.
And so we reached out to him and we went and go met him at his house, which was also wild.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to tell about the house?
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. Christopher Young, like legitimately is lives spooky every day. He has a bathroom dedicated to pumpkins.
Wow.
I would say the holidays in general, he's got a Halloween Christmas tree area, a Christmas tree area. And just his home was just someplace I would love to visit and live in.
He has the most extensive collection of horror legend mask molds.
Wow. That's really cool.
Which is like a really interesting thing. Like, but he has like Vincent Price's mask mold.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or like people like that, like just like their mask molds of like famous horror actors, and it's, you could tell it's their faces, right? You could see them, and they're all in frames. It's incredible. Like his love for everything horror and kind of weird and left of center and spooky is just expressed throughout his house. Every room is a different theme, and it's really impressive. And honestly, his passion for the music he makes and his personality is that house. It's the same thing, right? Wow. Like that it's almost an extension of him. His stories are just so rich and just so, and the way he approaches everything, you're like
very authentic.
Yeah.
I ran into him on the queue at Monsterpalooza.
I love that. And that's my goal. I bought a house in October, naturally, and didn't move in until November because of my schedule. But I'm working on making it an extension of, I found this old, they made them in the 70s in Mexico, and so they were popular in the Southwest. They're these like metal, aluminum pumpkin things, and they're giant, and I've been tracking them down. But it's just, as we're talking about throughout this whole chat, like it's just us people, us spooky people, that's just what we kind of aim to do all year, just to keep it throughout the year, because it is our passion.
For us, like, I think what was so exciting about making this record and our passion for it is it was a chance to do something different. It was a chance to like contribute to spooky music in a whole different way, in a way that normally in our everyday lives of writing for like the Mark Ronsons and Beyonces and Lizzo's,
Madonnas and
like
Beyonces.
We don't get the opportunity to kind of make music in this way. Right. Christopher and his crew, they brought a whole other level to sound design and kind of like took our songs, ripped them apart, put them back together, rearranged them, added to them. and brought in not only, you know, everything score and symphonic, but like really uncomfortable sounds and like I said, sound design and
Scary.
really made it scary. And so we thought, as fans of immersive theater, which we do every year as well, I don't know if you've done immersive theater, but
I have seen it's. Yes.
So we love immersive theater. We thought, well, what if we made an album? What if this album was the most terrifying album ever made, and we made it immersive? So we ended up partnering with Dolby and a gentleman by the name of Jay Clark, who came in as an immersive mix engineer and ended up mixing our record in Atmos, Dolby Atmos. So we created this kind of like immersive spatial experience that was scary and also really catchy and good at the same time. And then Dolby was kind enough to give us their Atmos screening room here in Hollywood, California, where we brought in people from all over from the Halloween world, the media world, celebrity world, music world, and we sat them in this theater and turned off all the lights and made them listen to the entire album in the pitch black. In the dark.
That's incredible.
Which I think at a certain point, we all three of us kind of looked at each other like,
what are we doing?
We're
We're blowing it.
It was like the biggest risk I think we had taken yet as like, let's see if we could get away with this without people actually.
Evan and I were pacing like psychos.
People's minds were blown. And when we listened back to what Christopher had given back to us, it was an audio experience that every time we listened to it created new visuals in our heads. Mm-hmm. And that's what the audience took away from it. They took away the same thing. And that's what we hope people will take away from it. It's like reading a book. You get to create in your mind what the visuals look like, what the characters look like, what the narrative really is. In this sense, we're basically giving you a soundtrack to a movie that you can make in your head, right? Like you can create the narrative in your head, and we're kind of leading you on this journey through an audio way, through an oral way, and not the other way around. People are so used to being led by visuals. In this case, we're leading you by the audio, and you get to create the visuals in your mind. You get to as scary as you want it to be, and that was, I think, kind of groundbreaking in that sense.
Yeah, and we knew it was working. Like, I think Evan or Pumpkin and Crates and I quit pacing when people started cheering and clapping.
After each one, yeah.
Because we didn't tell them, oh, you're going to go sit in the dark now for 45 minutes.
We sat them in a theater. I guarantee you they thought, oh, they made visuals with their music this year.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't even tell our other collaborators. We collaborated with a great group at Bad Robots label at RCA called Milk Blood. They have a character that they're developing, an alien, essentially, on their socials, and we collaborated with them, and they didn't even know that's what was going to be happening. So it was truly like a spooky surprise for everyone.
I love it. Lovecraft, thank you so much. I would love if, every year I have Elvira on around this time. I'd love to have you guys every year on this time. You guys are amazing. You are my people. And there is so much music, so much incredible music that people can go right this second and listen to, and more will be forthcoming.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us, and hopefully we can make it to Haunted Delaware one year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when you're on the East Coast, let me know. I'll get you guys all hooked up with everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely am dying to do an East Coast haunt tour.
I can literally get you set up with all of the big guys on the East Coast.
Yes.
Eastern State Penitentiary, Penhurst Asylum, all the giants in the industry on the East Coast. I can get you. We'll get a tour sorted for you.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We'll do it. Transworld. We'll definitely reach out.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, talk soon. Literally my people. That is Lovecraft. I love them as people, as horror fans, as artists, as producers, creatives, songwriters. That's the amazing thing. I loved these guys separately before they were Lovecraft, and I love them even more now, knowing they're such huge horror fans, and for the incredible music that they're putting out. And please go check them out. They're so
freaking awesome. Lovecraft.net. That's LVCRFT.net. LVCRFT.net. Lovecraft. They have got a brand new album out for this year called Scream Warrriors, and as you heard about in the interview, really, really, really awesome kind of, score. It's like for a movie that doesn't exist yet. I love it. So, anyway. Oh, and it must be Halloween. I love that song. Must be Halloween. So, check them out. Oh, and I think my favorite song by them is Dia de los Muertos Dos, which is incredible. That's my favorite song by them, I think, by far. I love it. Anyway, so check them out and keep it locked right here. Again, I want to have them every year, just as I have Elvira for our annual Halloween episode. And, we'll be doing it bigger and better and spookier than ever. In the meantime, I will see you guys next week. I love you. Have a safe and happy Halloween. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
Dance, dance, dance the way you move you in a trance, trance, trance. Ooh, it make you wanna dance, dance, dance until you can. Shaking every bone like Skeleton Sam. Hey!